Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPLHINTS, here to discuss my UCL Fantasy moves ahead of Matchday 3. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, in my previous video, I basically said that I couldn't justify doing 2 free transfers and hoping for the best. I really need to get momentum back, and I need to basically do some upside chasing. That forward line itself didn't have really too many complaints, but lots of question marks in midfield, in defense, and in goal as well. So I'm going to activate my wildcard on this video, and not a million miles off the changes that I had proposed in the previous video, which I'll put in the description below, and it will act in some ways as a reference point. And without further ado, here are my wildcard changes for match day 3. So up front, I really did contemplate potentially removing Gyökeres, even Kane, despite the hat-trick. He's got some tricky games coming up as well. But in terms of this actual wildcard, Gluck has gone, Gonçalves has gone, Gnabry has gone, Bellingham has gone. Again, the reasons why I'm removing those players are in the previous video. In terms of the defence, Dedic has gone. Schlotterbeck, albeit Dortmund have been fairly resolute of late, the matches do get a bit trickier with Real Madrid and Barcelona in 2 of the next 4. To be fair, beyond that, it's not too bad, but I'll try and shoehorn in another alternative option instead. So Schlotterbeck goes. Hakimi just isn't the Hakimi of old. I know the fixtures aren't massively problematic, but can't justify him. And then Juventus, I know that I talked about their fixtures up until matchday 4 matchday 4 and 5 were relatively reasonable. We've got Villa, Man City coming up as well. So yeah, out he goes, especially with Di Gregorio being suspended. I'll keep Kubasi, 4.5 million, cut price, entry level into the Barcelona defence. So I'll keep him. And I'll get rid of Blažević as well. So there are some double ups and triple ups that I am going to basically factor in with this wildcard draft. So the first player that catches my eye, now he didn't really start of late in these initial games in domestic competition, but one player that really does catch my eye, it's Manchester City's Phil Foden, who of course got subbed on late on the match on Sunday and picked up an assist. I'm hoping the reason he didn't start was so that he's basically fresh for this Champions League match, and looking at the games on the whole, fairly reasonable between now and the remainder of this league phase. So Foden is a no-nonsense pick for me for this wildcard draft. So moving on to the next player, someone who I pretty much was close to getting in my first draft, but fine margins and kind of just got lost in the noise. Florian Wirtz, absolutely sensational, 25 points in those first 2 games. Got Brest, Salzburg in 2 of the next 3. Almost fixture-proof at this stage, especially with the form that Leverkusen have been in over the past season and a bit. So no-nonsense pick for me. And the next player that I'm going to pick in this draft, I know it's a bit controversial. Someone who really didn't catch my eye in Fantasy Premier League when he was playing for Chelsea, but I am going to go for Pulisic. So with Pulisic in particular, again, I've given my reasons in the other video. The fixture run looks reasonably generous for him, barring the Real Madrid match. So I think having a double up or triple up of Milan players makes absolute sense. So staying in Italy, and another club who haven't been doing too badly themselves, Atalanta, and of course Ademola Lookman, 6.5 million, 17 points in his last 2 games. Fixture run, just like Milan, gets very generous. Got Real Madrid, of course, and Barcelona in 2 of the last 3 games, but can't really overlook these players due to the fixtures and also to an extent the form that they possess as well. So with the midfield, Foden arguably is the only premium midfielder, and I've got 2 premiums up top so far in this wildcard draft. I've got £28.5 million to spend. So I can't just fit in premiums. I'm going to pick also a player that actually is a budget enabler, and again, I'm not an expert in the French league, but he has been playing matches of late for his team, Monaco, and just bringing up his points there. There he is. So Salisu, 1% owned, 13 points, £4 million. Fixtures look fairly reasonable in, I'd say, 2 of the next 3. Gets trickier towards the end, in fairness. £4 million, and he's starting regularly. I think he is a no-nonsense pick. So in he comes to this team as an enabler. So £24.5 million to spend now in this wildcard team. And I will activate the wildcard on this draft as well, don't you worry. So another player who has shown a bit of attacking prowess that I am going to pick. And I really wanted Aston Villa cover, just couldn't justify Ollie Watkins because I've got those strikers locked up top. And if I got rid of Gyökeres for Ollie Watkins, I mean, just to show you what that would have meant, I would have been basically struggling for funds elsewhere. And I wanted a fairly balanced team as a whole. So just to confirm Ollie Watkins' price in UCL Fantasy, just confirm it here. £7.5 million. So actually, I could actually get him in. So let's just see. Man City, Arsenal for Gyökeres is a tough one. But then look at their fixtures: Bologna, Bruges, Juventus, RBL, Monaco, Celtic. You know what? Let's do it. For some reason, I thought he was more than £7.5 million. I'll probably regret it now with Gyökeres and the sensational form he's been in as a whole since he's been at Lisbon. But I really wanted some Aston Villa cover. But coming on to my defence now, and going back to Aston Villa, it is Luca Dean, who in FPL has been somewhat of a troll in the past. Again, don't need to really go through the fixtures. They had a really sensational win against Bayern Munich. So again, looking at the fixtures, Luca Dean comes in. So that leaves me with 20.1 million because I've done that Gyökeres Watkins swap. So I'm going to go for some heavy defenders. So Atalanta and AC Milan. I want a bit of attacking prowess with my defense. So just getting it up here. Here we go. So just sort it by percentage owned. There we go. Theo Hernandez, £5.5 million. Absolutely sensational in terms of goal involvement since he's been at Milan. Of course, tricky match against Leverkusen, blanked, and then with Liverpool as well. But then you've got Bruges, okay, Real Madrid's tricky one. And then beyond that, for the remaining games, it's a very generous run of games. I think it would be crazy not to have him in the team. And then the other one, which I can see right here, Zappacosta, also with him, wasn't really a standout player in the Premier League for goal involvements, but he's quietly racked up a fair few goal involvements for Atalanta, Celtic, Stuttgart, young boys. Okay, you've got Real Madrid, and then Sturm Graz in the remaining matches. So I think he is a no-nonsense pick for me as well. So as you can see, I've already got a double up of AC Milan and Atalanta players. And you know what? Let's do the triple up. So with Minen, again, we already know what the fixtures are. Don't think he's kept any clean sheets as of now. Going to get him in. And then for Atalanta, Konasechi. So I've got him in as well. The key thing with them is that they also rotate. So looking at the matches, the Real Madrid match is the one I definitely want some sort of alternative cover. And then with Atalanta, Stuttgart in that match. And of course, they've got Real Madrid and Barcelona in 2 of the last 3. But then I'd hope that Minen can cover him in those matches. Of course, let me just check if they rotate as well. Just realised I've picked them, and I really do hope they rotate. So that's 23rd of October for Atalanta and 22nd of October for Milan. So I got fairly lucky there. I didn't even look at that. So bad rookie mistake from my side. So there we have it. This, I think, is going to be my wildcard draft. Just have a one final look over. No Real Madrid players is a massive problem. But then just to remind myself of the options that are available, Bellingham really isn't playing in that same position from what I can gauge from last season. Mbappe's kind of rejigged his position to some extent since he's been in the team. So yeah, I mean, if I was doing a SWOT analysis, let's bring Bellingham up for this argument's sake. So yeah, they got Dortmund, tricky match, Liverpool, tricky match, and then the remaining matches aren't too bad in fairness. Mbappe, I can't really justify having him when Kane is in sensational form, and Haaland, I know he's had a bit of a patchy form of late, but then hopefully with Ollie Watkins, he can pick up his form and finally get some returns in the UEFA Champions League that are goals and double-digit hauls as well. So clearly the strength here is a lot of balance, good rotation. The weaknesses, clearly no Real Madrid cover. I think Dortmund cover in some extent I probably would have wanted as well. The opportunities really here are the triple up with AC Milan and Atalanta, because you just look at the percentages of those respective teams and the players. Not a lot have actually got them in their UCL Fantasy teams right now. So I think that hopefully will put me in good stead. And I know it's a massive risk. I'm getting rid of some more established players, but again, I justify it with the goalkeepers. There is that rotation and reasonable fixtures. Hernandez and Zappacosta, if they concede, there's the attacking prowess. And then Ademola Lookman, fixtures and a bit of form. Pulisic, fixtures and a bit of form as well. So yeah, the only other change I've made, again, on the spur, got rid of Gyökeres for Watkins, and it's more to do with the fixtures. So let's review those transfers, compare them side by side before I hit the wildcard button. So Gyökeres for Watkins, almost like a sideways move, but Watkins has a better fixtures. I think Bellingham for Foden, I'm hoping that is an upgrade with more attacking prowess and also better fixtures. So Serge Gnabry has really not been a great pick for me. Should have gone for Wirtz in the first place. Juventus are weakened without their goalkeeper, haven't kept any clean sheets in UCL so far. So Cambiasso for Salisu makes sense. Hakimi isn't the same player of old. And then Luka Dean, of course, can offer some potential with his fixtures. Schlotterbeck for Hernandez, I'd pretty much call that an upgrade in some respects, especially with the attacking prowess and fixtures. Then the goalkeeper switch because of the red card suspension for Di Gregorio. Minen, I hope he can get some clean sheets. And then Blažević, who's really done nothing for me in goal as well, for the Atlanta goalkeeper. Gonçalves, who missed the last match. For Pulisic, I'd consider that an upgrade. Gluck hasn't done much despite his overall form for his team. In comes Lookman, and then Dedic also goes out, as does Gluck, as I've mentioned, from his own team, and then Zappacosta. So I'd say all of these moves that I've got on wildcard are upgrades. 0.1 million in the bank. So let's hit the wildcard button. Yes, I want to play my wildcard, and let's confirm those transfers. So looking at the players now, as I've got them in my team, so I'll just sort them out by fixtures. So of course, Watkins 22nd, Harry Kane's on the 23rd, Haaland is on the 23rd. Just going to check to see if there are any 22nd players on the bench. So Zappacosta's 23rd, Lookman's 23rd. I think it is going to be Pulisic. I'm going to sub out Harry Kane and bring in Pulisic. So there we go, 23rd, 23rd. And then the goalkeepers got Konasechi, 23rd. Minen's playing on the 22nd. So I'll just confirm those moves. All of my bench will be playing on the 23rd, so I can do my auto subs. Luka Dean, 22nd. Hernandez, 22nd. Kubasi, 23rd. Salisu, 22nd. Yamal, 23rd. Foden, 23rd. Wirtz, 23rd. And Pulisic, 22nd. So got a nice mix there. I'll put my hands up and say that I wasn't really strictly looking at the actual days. I probably should have done that with hindsight, but in fairness, I did that in the previous video with Atalanta and Milan, so I knew that they were playing on the separate days. So I think on the whole, I've got nice balance there. My captain for the first match day, as it were, 22nd. So might even pick Pulisic actually, or Ollie Watkins. what could possibly go wrong? So let's pick Ollie Watkins as the captain for now. Could I captain Jamal? Well, 23rd, I can't. Wirtz is 23rd as well. It's really Pulisic against Club Brugge. If I had a choice between captaining Pulisic and Ollie Watkins, I think Ollie Watkins makes more sense. So as it stands right now with this team, I think I reserve the right to make changes up until the deadline. If I realise that some of these players are a rotation risk, then ultimately I could potentially get rid of some. The one player that I wanted, but it just wouldn't work with the maths, was Rico Lewis. But then with Rico Lewis, there is a risk that he could potentially be rotated. He's, of course, been starting regularly for Man City in the Premier League. So I think that's one player that I probably would have wished to have had with my team. Again, with the generous fixtures that Man City have as well. But yeah, I just don't think, could I make it work? Could I get rid of Salisu and make it work with Rico Lewis? I'm not sure that is the case. No, I can't. I'm 0.1 million. So yeah, let's keep it at that. So yeah, look, there we have it. I've already done the SWOT analysis. I think there is a lot of balance here, a lot of upside. Got nothing to lose. My rank could be in better shape. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the balance right? Have I got the balance wrong? Are there any players that I've completely missed out on, haven't mentioned in this video or the previous video that I should get? As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best.